Hello everybody, it's Jay Roby. In this video we're going to be looking at the book lines for the Scandinavian Defense. It's one of the oldest black defenses in the world of chess, and it has been used by grandmasters on fairly numerous occasions, including Larsen defeating Karpov back in 1979, and a lot of recent examples as well with current grandmasters. And basically the main goal of the Scandinavian Defense is to, it basically gives black momentum over white, and it puts black into a position of kind of dictating where play is going to follow. So we'll take a look here at the book lines, and then we'll explore some variations. And I've had a subscriber ask too if I could start to use Grandmaster games to show examples of the openings. I think that's a good idea, and for this video here we'll be referring to the Larsen-Karpov game near the end of the video. So the Scandinavian opens as follows. It's a king's pawn opening from white, and the Scandinavian defense is pawn to d5 by black, and basically black is already attacking the pawn here. So if white takes, then the Scandinavian defense line can be reached, and that's queen now to d5 taking white's pawn. And from here the book line continues white knight to c3, and queen now to a5. And from here white plays d4 pawn, black develops knight to f6, and white plays knight to f3. Black can play a pawn here to c6, white can develop the bishop to d2. And from this position here, we can come into some different variations. But so far this is pretty much the book line here for the Scandinavian defense. So let's take a look now at what the defense has done. So if we go back to the beginning of the game here, after white plays pawn to e4 and black plays pawn to d5, if white takes, you'll notice that white now has moved the pawn 2 times. So basically what this does is it takes away white's extra move from the beginning, because he's now moved the same piece twice in the opening. So black's only moved his pawn once, so now he's developing a piece on his second move. So if you take a quick look at the board, black's got 1 piece developed and white has none developed at the moment. And from here, white needs to gain a little bit of tempo back. It develops the knight to c3, attacking the queen, and black can move the queen to safety. We'll also look at some variations where that includes a black check, but for now we'll stick to the book lines here. And then as follows, as we saw, play can continue as such. So let's look at some possible variations here with the Scandinavian defense. We'll go back to the initial play when black queen has taken the pawn on d5, white's developed the knight, now attacking the queen. The first is queen to d8. Now this kind of runs counter to the rule of try not to move your pieces more than once in the opening, but black can still have a sharp game here if it plays it properly. White's down a center pawn, as is black, so the control of the center is still up for grabs depending on the quality of the play. Another option here is the Patzer variation, and that's queen to e5, landing a check, and white can block the check, and then from here black can try to take advantage of the flow of the game and develop, keeping things going smoothly. Another one is a little bit rare, and that involves queen to e6 check. So queen goes down here now, landing the check. After the check is blocked, the queen then moves to g6, attacking the weak pawn here. So this is a little bit rare. It's kind of tough to say how effective this would be, considering the bishop could move right back and keep going. And the last one is the Bronstein variation, and this one has had a little bit more popularity amongst grandmasters as early as the 2000s here. And the Bronstein variation basically follows queen to d6 after the knight develops. And from here the queen is still impacting a lot of the center action here. So you can see the queen can go pretty much anywhere she wants to, or even fall back if she needs to. And then from here black can develop a very strong push for the center. So that's called the Bronstein variation. Another option for black after pawn captures on d5 is to develop knight to f6. And this basically, black is holding back on capturing this pawn for the short term. And play can continue as follows. So if white defends the pawn now through c4, black can play e6. And what this is called is this leads into the Icelandic gambit. So for example, if white captures pawn, black develops bishop. And now black has a very good development here in the center. So it's given up a pawn in return for a stronger center position. And there's another way to reach this as well. Instead of playing e6 here, black can opt for c6. So if white captures, black develops the knight. So still a nice little influence in the center here. We have this knight attacking a number of squares. Here, 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 here. This knight on c6 is attacking a number of squares as well. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And then the queen is still impacting somewhat into the center, and as well as the bishop. So it's it's a giving up a pawn for a strong center position basically. And this is a variation into the Icelandic gambit. Now, as with all openings and defenses, there's always a way for the opposing player to not get into those lines, and white has a couple options to avoid the Scandinavian defense here. The first is pawn to d4 instead of pawn takes pawn on d5. This transposes into the Blackmar-Dymar gambit. Or white also has the option of just simply pushing the pawn past to e5, and this allows black to transpose into a French defense with its second move to e6 with the pawn. Another option for black, if white opts to avoid the Scandinavian defense line, is to play something like pawn to c5 or bishop to f5, and this can lead into an advanced variation of the Caro-Kann, and it can build up extra tempo for black. So those cover pretty much the primary possibilities with the Scandinavian defense. It's a defense that's been around for a long time, so there's definitely a lot of information out on it. And if you guys have anything to add or contribute, definitely post your video or your text comments. But in closing off the video here, we're going to go through the game between Larsen and Karpov in 1979. And Larsen's playing black, and in this match he uses the Scandinavian defense to get the victory over Karpov. So we'll just go through the first few moves of the game here. And so Karpov opens up with king's pawn to e4, and Larsen plays the Scandinavian defense, pawn to d5. Karpov accepts, and from here you can see that the book lines ring true. So from here Karpov develops the knight to c3, and Larsen pulls queen to a5. Karpov develops pawn to d4, and Larsen plays knight to f6, and then Karpov plays bishop to d2. So it's pretty much identical to the book lines. We'll just go through the next few moves here to see what Larsen's strategy was. So he moves now bishop to g4, attacking the queen, and the bishop here is protected by the knight. So Karpov plays bishop to e2, and at this point Larsen just trades the bishops off. And Karpov uses his knight to take back because it opens up an attack on the queen with the bishop. So Larsen just moves the queen to b6. So you can see already, Larsen's got a lot more direct attacking capabilities building up here into the center. And I'll just flip through the next few moves. You'll actually see that Larsen builds up always maintains a solid presence in the center of the board here, forcing Karpov to kind of work around that. And as it leads up to the end of the game, this control of the center and the utilization of the pieces is very key. So it was a good example of how the bookline Scandinavian defense has been used by Grandmaster level players, and that pretty much sums it up. So take care. Hope you enjoy the video.